Naomi Scott walked into Greenwood Mall to do some shopping. To the workers there, she looked like just another black woman with a big purse. They thought she would be easy to blame for stealing. Two security guards, named Miller and Davis, started watching her closely. Their steps were heavy, and they wanted to trap her. Soon, Officer Victor Cole showed up. He was loud, smug, and loved acting like he had all the power. But none of them knew who Naomi really was. Behind her calm eyes was a strong fire. She had worked for the police for 20 years. She had earned the rank of captain by working hard and never giving up. They thought she would just obey quietly. They were wrong. Their pride would soon face its payback. The Saturday sun shone through the glass ceiling of Greenwood Mall, making warm light fall on the shiny floors. Captain Naomi Scott walked with confidence, her leather purse moving gently by her side. After a busy week of paperwork and meetings, she was happy to do something simple, buying a birthday gift for her niece. "Something special for Jasmine," she whispered as she looked at the stores. The mall was busy with families pushing strollers, kids by the fountain, and shoppers everywhere. Naomi felt relaxed and wanted to forget about work. But that peace lasted only 8 minutes. She noticed something in the reflection of a store window, two security guards following her. The tall guard, Miller, spoke into his radio while staring right at her. The shorter guard, Davis, looked nervous as he kept glancing at her and then at Miller. Naomi's jaw tightened. With 20 years on the police force, she could easily spot when someone was spying. She had been followed before while shopping. It wasn't new, but it always hurt. "Copy that," Miller's voice was loud. Black female, brown leather bag, blue sweater. Keeping eyes on. Naomi's hands curled into fists. She wanted to spin around, show her police badge, and watch them panic. But no, she was off duty. She was here for her niece's gift. She wouldn't let them ruin her day. She took a deep breath and stepped into Crystal's boutique, a fancy jewelry shop. The air smelled of sweet vanilla, and soft jazz music played. Behind the counter, a white woman named Rachel stood stiffly in a neat blazer. Her fake smile didn't reach her eyes. "Can I help you?" she asked sharply. "Just browsing, thanks," Naomi answered calmly, though her heart was beating fast. She walked to a glass display of charm bracelets, the kind Jasmine had been wanting. Through the mirror behind the counter, Naomi saw Rachel's suspicious eyes following her. Outside, Miller and Davis pretended to look at a mall map but were still watching. "These cases are locked," Rachel said loudly as she came to stand right next to Naomi. "Only staff can open them." "I understand," Naomi said politely. "I'll let you know when I want to see something." But Rachel didn't move away. She got even closer, her eyes darting toward Naomi's purse. That purse, which Naomi had saved 3 months to buy, suddenly felt heavy and hot against her side. "Actually," Naomi said, standing tall, "I'd like to see the silver bracelet with the butterfly charm." Rachel hesitated, her hands shaking as she reached for her keys. She unlocked the case and pulled out the bracelet. It sparkled beautifully with tiny crystals on the butterfly's wings. Naomi smiled, imagining Jasmine's happy face. "I'll take." "Excuse me," Rachel cut in loudly. "I need to see inside your bag." The shop went silent. Even the jazz music seemed to stop. Shoppers turned to stare. "Excuse me?" Naomi asked, keeping her voice calm. "A piece of jewelry is missing from the case," Rachel said, louder now, as Miller and Davis came inside. "I saw you slip something into your purse." "That's a lie," Naomi said firmly. "I haven't touched anything except the bracelet you just showed me." "Ma'am, please cooperate," Miller said, stepping closer with his hand on his radio. "Empty your bag on the counter." Naomi straightened, feeling her authority. "I will not. I haven't stolen anything. You have no right to search my bag without proof." Davis looked nervous, but Rachel's face turned red with anger. "Either show us what's in your bag or we'll call the police." "This is harassment," Naomi said firmly. "You've been following me since I came in. You're targeting me because I'm black, and I will not be humiliated." Miller puffed his chest. "Last chance. Open the bag, or things get complicated." Naomi stood tall. "No. You have no right, no proof, and no evidence. Back off." "That's it," Miller growled into his radio. "Code 10 at Crystal's boutique. Subject refusing to comply. Requesting police backup." Shoppers gathered at the doorway, recording on their phones. Rachel looked less sure of herself now. Davis glanced nervously toward the exit. But Naomi didn't move. She had faced dangerous criminals and bad cops before. She wouldn't be bullied by mall guards or a biased manager. Her purse stayed at her side. Her eyes stayed locked on Miller's. "You're making a big mistake," she said quietly. The air in the boutique felt thick with tension. Naomi stayed calm, even though anger bubbled inside her. "Before you continue these false accusations," she said to Rachel, "why don't we check your cameras? They'll prove I haven't taken anything." Rachel hesitated, unsure. "The cameras. They're right there," Naomi pointed. "And there and there. Let's watch the footage." Miller didn't wait. He grabbed Naomi's arm tightly. Davis held her other arm, though more gently. "You've been warned," Miller said. "Now you're interfering." Naomi's police training told her she could break free easily, but that would only make it worse. Instead, she raised her voice so everyone could hear, "I am asking calmly to see the security footage. That is not interference. That's fair." Then the doorway darkened. A tall officer pushed through the crowd. It was Officer Victor Cole. He wore his badge proudly and looked excited, not concerned. Naomi knew his reputation. She'd seen complaints about him. He was known for being too rough, especially with black shoppers. "What do we got here?" Cole boomed, his hand on his weapon. Rachel rushed to explain. "She won't let us check her bag. I think she's causing trouble." "Always the same," Cole sneered, staring at Naomi. "Officer," Naomi said calmly. "This is a misunderstanding. We could." But before she could finish, Cole slammed her against the glass wall. The cases shook. Shoppers gasped. The glass was cold against her cheek as Cole pressed harder. "Don't tell me how to do my job," he hissed in her ear. "Hands behind your back." "This is excessive force," Naomi said loudly for all to hear. "I have rights, and you are violating them." "Rights?" Cole laughed cruelly. "You've got the right to shut up." He yanked her arms back and clicked the cuffs too tightly. The crowd grew bigger. Phones were everywhere. People whispered and shouted. Some said this wasn't right. Cole dragged Naomi out into the mall. Everyone stopped to watch. A black woman in nice clothes, in handcuffs. Naomi lifted her chin high, even though her shoulders hurt. "You're making a scene for nothing," Cole barked. "Should have just cooperated." Outside, the sun was blinding. Cole pulled her toward his patrol car. "Before you go any further," Naomi said loudly so everyone heard, "you should know something." "Save it," Cole snapped, yanking the car door open. "I'm Captain Naomi Scott, 15th Precinct," she said, her voice strong. "My badge is in my pocket. You would know if you had asked." Gasps filled the crowd. Cole froze. He didn't believe her. "Sure you are." "And I'm the commissioner," he said, but his voice shook. He patted her pocket and pulled out the gold badge. It gleamed in the sunlight. "This is fake," he barked, but his words were weak. "She's a captain," someone yelled. "He arrested a police captain for shopping," shouted another. Cole's face turned red. The crowd was filming, recording every moment. "You should take off these handcuffs now," Naomi said quietly. "Before you make this worse." "This badge could be fake," Cole stammered. "I'm adding charges." "For what?" Naomi asked firmly. "Shopping while black?" Phones went higher. Someone live-streamed. The chants grew, "Let her go. Let her go." "This is going viral," a teenager shouted, staring at her phone. "Already has thousands of shares." Cole pulled at Naomi's arm again, but he was clearly panicking. His usual bullying wasn't working. Then a mall supervisor rushed out, pale and scared. With him was a woman in a business suit, Patricia Wells, the mall's PR director. She was on the phone. "Internal affairs is on their way," Patricia said quickly. "Officer, maybe we should handle this inside." "There's nothing to handle," Naomi said firmly. "These handcuffs need to come off. Now." The crowd grew louder, recording, live-streaming, sharing non-stop. The world was watching. The story was moving so fast that nobody could stop it. "Look at these numbers," someone shouted. 20,000 people already watched it. Patricia Wells walked closer. She worked for the mall. She smiled, but her smile looked fake and worried. "Officer Cole, maybe we should." "I don't take orders from mall managers," Cole snapped. He tried to sound tough, but he was scared. Sweat rolled down his face even though the air was cool. A police car drove into the parking lot. The lights flashed, but the siren was off. Sergeant Robert Watkins stepped out. His face was calm, but serious. He had worked with Naomi for many years. He knew she was honest and strong. "Officer Cole," Watkins called out. His voice sounded easy but sharp. Why do you have a police captain in handcuffs? Cole's hand finally let go of Naomi's arm. Sergeant, I was answering a theft call. This woman said she was a captain, but Captain Scott.
Watkins stopped him. That is Captain Scott. Your boss's boss.
The badge you're holding is real. You better check it right now. The crowd became quiet. Everyone was watching. Cole's face changed many times. Mad, scared, thinking hard. Finally, with shaking hands, he pulled out his keys and unlocked the handcuffs. Naomi rubbed her wrists. They were red from the tight metal. She knew she would have bruises tomorrow. Another normal day that went very wrong. Patricia Wells stepped forward and raised her voice so the crowd's phones could record her. Captain Scott, on behalf of Greenwood Mall, we are so sorry for what happened. We want everyone to feel welcome here. Clearly, we failed you today. Unfortunate incident, Naomi repeated.
Her voice was sharp.
Is that what we call it when someone is targeted because of their skin color? When will the police use too much force?
The PR woman flinched.
More phones were recorded. We will investigate, Wells said, her voice shaking a little. Our security rules will be checked. Save it, Naomi cut her off. Your cameras saw everything. Keep the videos safe. The crowd clapped and cheered. People shouted that they had videos too. They wanted to help. While the mall's PR team tried to calm things down, Sergeant Watkins moved closer to Naomi and spoke softly. You should know, Cole was already talking on his radio before I came. Let me guess, Naomi said. He's writing his story already.
Watkins nodded.
He says you fought back and hit him when he tried to arrest you. You know how these things work. The first story written down often becomes the official one. Naomi felt anger rise inside her, but her face stayed calm. She knew this trick. Bad reports used to cover bad behavior. It happened all the time, especially to black people who dared to speak up. He doesn't know who he's dealing with, she told Watkins. The crowd slowly went home. Mall staff tried to act normal again. Naomi picked up her badge from the ground and left. The drive home felt strange. The streets looked the same, but everything felt different. Her hand stayed steady on the wheel, but her brain was racing. At home, Naomi went to her office. She needed to write everything down while she remembered it. She turned on her laptop. The email sound pinged. A new message from the department. The subject read, Incident Report 2T123487. She opened it. Her jaw tightened. The report said she had been angry and wild from the start. It said she hit officers and refused to follow rules. The words painted her as the angry black woman people always lied about. Her stomach burned as she read. The email had been sent to Internal Affairs, the chief, and the police union. Cole had moved quickly, trying to control the story. The clock showed 7:30 p.m. when Tanya Johnson walked in. She brought a bottle of wine. Her face showed deep worry. Tanya was a defense lawyer and Naomi's best friend for 15 years. I ordered Chinese, Naomi said, pointing to food on the table. We'll need it for this talk. Tanya set down her bag and pulled out a manila folder. I read the report. It's worse than I thought. They sat down at the table, just like they had done many times before. Normally it was dinner and laughter. Tonight it was serious. Tell me straight, Naomi said. How bad? Tanya sipped her wine slowly. It's very bad. The report is made to trigger an investigation. Cole knows what he's doing. He says you hit him. That's assault on an officer. He says you were hostile and angry. The mall guards will support him. But there are videos. Naomi said. So many people saw. Videos can help, Tanya said, but you know the system. They'll say the videos don't show everything. They'll blame your attitude. They'll twist the story. Tanya set her fork down. And we both know how the system treats black officers who speak up. Naomi pushed her plate away. She wasn't hungry anymore. So, what are my choices? Legally, we fight. The videos help, and your record is clean. But, Tanya's voice slowed, you might get suspended. They might even try to push you out of the force. Over a fake shoplifting call? Naomi said in disbelief. No, Tanya said softly. Over making them look bad. Over being a black woman who wouldn't stay quiet. The truth hit hard. Naomi stood and looked out the window. The street was calm, but she felt no peace. I could go public, Naomi said. The story is already online. I could tell my side.
Tanya frowned.
That's risky. Remember Captain Williams? He spoke out about racism 3 years ago. Now he's working security at a warehouse. The system punishes people who speak. So I'm supposed to just take it? Let them ruin me?
Naomi's hands clenched. No, Tanya said. We fight smart. We gather proof. We make a case. She paused.
And Naomi, this might not just be about you.
What do you mean? Tanya opened the folder.
She spread papers across the table. I've defended 6 black clients this year. All arrested at or near this mall. All charged with resisting or assaulting officers. Always after they complained about harassment. Naomi leaned over the papers. She read them fast, like the investigator she was. Same officers. Cole shows up a lot. And the charges always come after the complaints. Exactly, Tanya said. It's like they use fake charges to shut people up. A cold chill ran through Naomi. How many cases? These 6 came to me. But how many others took plea deals? How many stayed silent? The 2 friends worked late into the night. They searched for patterns, made notes, and built a bigger picture. When Tanya left, it was almost midnight. Naomi couldn't sleep. She sat in the dark, scrolling through her laptop. The videos of her arrest were everywhere online. Some people were angry and called for justice. Others were mean, saying racist things, saying she deserved it. A news site had written about it. Black police captain arrested while shopping. Racial profiling or fair stop.
The comments were a war. Her phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. Back off, Captain.
You don't know what you're stepping into. Naomi sat up straight. She noticed details automatically. Local area code. Normal text, not an app. The message was a threat, but written carefully.
She took a screenshot. More evidence.
The phone's glow lit her face.
She looked determined.
They thought they could scare her.
They were wrong.
The next morning, at 8 a.m., Naomi walked into Tanya's office.
Sunlight streamed in.
The office was quiet. Tanya's desk was covered in folders. Her tired eyes matched Naomi's.
I stayed up all night, Tanya said.
It's bigger than we thought. Show me, Naomi said, sipping coffee. Tanya spread papers across the desk like a puzzle. All of these are false arrests from the past year. All black residents. Most at Greenwood Mall.
How many? Naomi asked. 47.
And those are just the ones who fought back. For each one, maybe 5 more stayed quiet. Naomi leaned closer. Her eyes caught the patterns. Same officers.
Cole, Delgado, Cooper.
And the charges, always resisting, assaulting, disorderly conduct. All charges that are hard to fight. Exactly, Tanya said.
She pulled out a chart.
And 86% of these cases end with guilty pleas. Way higher than normal. Which means most people just gave up and took a deal, Naomi said.
And every deal includes probation, Tanya added.
Through a private company called New Horizon Supervision Services.
Naomi frowned. Private probation?
Is that legal?
It's growing.
Counties hire private companies to save money. But look, Tanya handed over another paper. The people have to pay big fees.
Monthly fees. Testing fees. Tracking fees. They pay thousands.
If they can't pay, they go back to jail.
More fees. It's endless.
Naomi stood up angry. I need to see the department's files. There has to be proof.
Be careful, Tanya warned.
I'm still a captain, Naomi said firmly. I have every right to check. At the station, Naomi sat at her desk. She searched digital records while ignoring the whispers around her. Everyone had seen the false report.
She kept her focus. She pulled years of data.
Arrests at Greenwood Mall. Same officers. Same charges. The numbers kept rising.
Then she saw it.
A memo about the department's partnership with New Horizon Services. The CEO's name, Richard Greenwood. The same family that owned the mall.
She dug deeper.
The probation company was owned by Greenwood Holdings. The mall security company was also owned by them. Everything was connected.
Her phone buzzed. It was a text from Tanya.
I found something else, the message said. These cases go up every few months, right before the mall tells the rich people how much money they made. Naomi's mind started running fast. More arrests meant more people stuck on probation. More people on probation meant more money in fees. The mall's guards kept stopping black shoppers. The local police made fake arrests. And the Greenwood family got richer from the money people had to pay. Naomi printed out the most important papers and put them in her briefcase. When she walked out, she heard whispers again. People were staring.
She didn't care.
She had bigger problems now. The afternoon sun was bright when Naomi parked across from Greenwood Mall. The mall's shiny glass looked fancy and rich. Yesterday, it was the place where she had been embarrassed and dragged away. But today, she saw it in a new way.
She sat in her car, watching shoppers.
Guards stood at every door with radios in their hands. A young black mom rushed past, holding her purse close, looking scared. A teenage boy was followed by a guard, just like what happened to her. Suddenly Naomi felt the truth hit her. How long had this been happening? How many lives had been ruined by fake charges? How many families had lost money because of probation fees? And all of it made the Greenwood family rich. Naomi grabbed the steering wheel.
Her knuckles turned white. She had worked 20 years as a cop.
She had seen racism, lies, and bad people in power.
But this was worse. This was planned.
This was a machine built to hurt people. She stared at the mall's big front door where she had been taken away in handcuffs just yesterday. "This isn't just about me," she whispered in the quiet car. Later, Naomi sat at her desk with the papers when she heard a knock. In the doorway stood a young Latina woman with a notebook. "Captain Scott, I'm Elena Rivera from the City Herald," she said, showing her press badge.
"Got a minute?"
Naomi almost said her usual no comment. But something in Elena's serious face made her stop.
"Close the door," Naomi said.
Elena sat and pulled out her phone to record. "I've been following your case since the mall," Elena said. "But that's not why I'm here. I've spent 6 months looking into Officer Cole and his link to private probation companies."
Naomi leaned back. "What did you find?"
"Money trails, fake companies, and arrests that happen at the perfect times," Elena said, showing papers on her tablet.
"But I hit walls. People stopped talking.
Records went missing. Then I saw your video. And I knew this was my chance." "Your chance for what?"
Naomi asked.
"To finally show the truth," Elena said with fire in her eyes. "I have bank records, big money sent to hidden accounts, tax papers that don't make sense. But I need someone inside to help me connect it all."
Naomi studied her.
Journalists could be good or bad. But Elena's passion reminded her of herself 20 years ago. "What's your angle?"
Naomi asked. "The truth.
How a racist cop and a company machine are ruining black lives for profit." Elena leaned in closer. "I grew up watching my immigrant parents bullied by police and cheated by bad companies."
"This is personal." Naomi waited, then nodded.
"I can't be your official source, but I may know people who can help."
"That's all I need," Elena smiled.
"And I might have something for you too. Have you heard of the Justice Coalition?" 2 hours later, they were in a small community center room. Reverend Marcus Green, a tall man with gray at his temples, spread photos on the table. "These are just from the past 3 months," he said. "All fake arrests by Cole and his team." Around the table sat community leaders, teachers, business owners, and activists. Each one had stories about Cole. Each one had been collecting proof. "We've been recording everything," said Lisa Daniel, a teacher. "Videos, witness statements, hospital papers from people that Cole hurt."
"But every complaint gets buried," said Malik Stanton, a barber.
"The police board does nothing. They're all in Greenwood's pocket." Elena took fast notes while Naomi looked through the evidence. Dozens of sworn papers told the same story: fake charges, violent arrests, pressure to take plea deals. Reverend Green pointed to a photo.
"This woman.
She's a single mom with 3 kids. Cole said she hit him during a traffic stop. Now she pays $300 a month in probation fees. She had to get another job. They told her they'd take her kids if she fought the charges." Lisa spoke softly.
"It's true." Naomi's hands tightened.
"Why haven't these stories come out before?"
"Fear," Malik said.
Cole makes examples. Strange traffic stops. Fake building violations.
Kids harassed at school.
But we kept proof, waiting for someone with power to help."
He looked at Naomi.
"With these sworn papers and my financial files, we can build a case," Elena said. "The Herald will publish it." "It'll take more than one story," Naomi warned. "The Greenwoods have tons of lawyers." "Then we'll write a series," Elena said firmly. "Follow every trail. Show how deep it goes." They spent another hour planning. The activists had years of records. Elena had money proof. Naomi had knowledge of police rules. We must be careful, Naomi said. These people will fight back. That's why we must hit hard and fast, Elena said. Once the first story comes out, others will speak up. By the time Naomi drove home, night had fallen. The weight of the day sat heavy on her. So many lives hurt. So much evidence was ignored. She had known racism in the department, but this level of evil shocked her. At her house, the porch light flickered. The mailbox was stuffed full, spilling onto the ground. Mail had already come earlier. She picked up the envelopes, and her stomach sank. No return addresses. No stamps. They were hand-delivered. At the Kit Daniel table, she opened them. Her hands shook. The first letter showed a drawing of a person hanging. Words cut from magazines said, "Mind your business." The next had photos of her, leaving her house, shopping, meeting Tanya. Someone had been watching her. Other letters had mean words and threats. Some showed pictures of her niece's school. The last envelope had a photo of Naomi being arrested at the mall. Someone had drawn crosshairs over her face. She sat down hard in her chair, the letters all around her. They wanted her scared and silent, like so many others. But they had made a mistake. Naomi Scott wasn't easy to scare. The threats showed they were worried. She carefully saved the letters as evidence. Tomorrow she'd show Elena and the coalition. It was one more piece of proof. The threats meant she was on the right path. And she wasn't alone anymore. The next morning, Naomi walked through the police building. The letters felt heavy in her briefcase. She needed someone higher up to trust. Lieutenant Pierce's office door was open. He was reading reports.
"Got a minute, Alan?" she asked. "For you?"
"Always," he said with a smile, waving her inside.
"Close the door." She sat down.
She'd known Pierce for 15 years. He had always supported her. "I need to show you something," Naomi said. She pulled out the letters. Pierce's face grew dark as he read them. He frowned at the photo with the crosshairs.
"Jesus, Naomi.
Did you report this?"
To who?" she asked.
"Alan, this goes deeper than Cole and the mall. I found a pattern, fake arrests, forced pleas, all feeding this private probation scheme." "That's a serious claim," Pierce said. "You have proof." "I'm building it," Naomi said. "I've got victim statements, money records, and now threats." She pointed to the letters. "Someone's scared enough to try to shut me up." Pierce rubbed his head. "You know I've always had your back. But this kind of case could shake the whole department." "It needs shaking," Naomi said firmly.
"You've seen Cole.
You've seen the complaints we've buried. This is more than dirty cops. It's a system of exploitation." "I hear you," Pierce said, standing and pacing.
"You're right.
"It needs looking into."
Let me help."
Quietly. "I can see who else might step up." Relief filled Naomi.
"Thanks, Alan.
"I knew I could count on you." "Always," he said.
But watch yourself."
"Maybe stay with family until we figure out who sent these threats." "I'm not hiding," Naomi said. "That's what they want." "Stubborn as ever," Pierce said. "At least let me send a patrol car by your house."
"I can handle myself. But thanks," Naomi said.
"It helps knowing you're with me." "We look out for our own," Pierce said.
"Keep me updated."
The rest of the day passed in a blur. Naomi worked, made copies of documents, and hid them safely. Too many records had a way of disappearing.
After midnight, she drove home.
The street was quiet, crickets chirping.
Her driveway lights came on. And then she saw it.
Red spray paint covered her car. Large letters spelled, "Traitor."
The paint dripped, still wet. Naomi froze, keys in hand.
This was no random act. She scanned the shadows, hand on her gun.
No one was there.
They were already gone.
She snapped photos. Then she saw the worst part.
Someone had scratched words into the paint. "Keep your mouth shut, Captain."
Her stomach dropped.
Only someone from the department knew she was a captain. Only someone inside knew she was investigating. She thought of everyone she talked to: Elena, the coalition, Tanya, Pierce. Her talk with Pierce replayed in her head. He'd offered to put out feelers. He'd asked who else knew.
"Damn it," she whispered.
She told him everything, her proof, her witnesses. If he was working with Cole. Inside, she dropped into a chair. Her badge sat on the table, shining in the light.
She stared at it. 20 years.
20 years believing in that badge. 20 years defending the department. 20 years thinking change could come from inside. Now she wondered if the whole thing was rotten. Her eyes stung, but she blinked back tears. No time to cry. She had choices to make. Trust no one inside. Save every record. Build the case in secret until she had proof no one could deny. The vandals had sent a clear message. She was alone inside the walls. Her badge gleamed, almost accusing her. Was there anything left worth saving? The next morning, Naomi's phone buzzed. It was a text from Elena. Need to meet. Big break. Usual spot. 20 minutes later, Naomi sat in a back booth at Jerry's diner. Her coffee was cold. Only a few people sat at the counter. The bell over the door rang. Elena hurried in, her bag tight against her side. "Sorry I'm late," she said, sliding into the booth. Her eyes looked around nervously. "But you're going to want to see this." Elena pulled out a manila envelope under the table. "Remember my source inside mall management?" she whispered. "They came through. Big time." Naomi opened the envelope very slowly. Inside were many papers with the mall's name on top. Her eyes grew wide when she read the first page. "These are secret notes from the mall's big meetings," Elena whispered softly. "They go back a year and a half. Look at page 3. Naomi turned to page 3. The paper talked about loss prevention, which really meant security rules. But as she kept reading, her hands began to shake. The paper gave clear orders. Security should watch certain groups of people more closely. It was a hidden way of saying, watch black people. The papers even showed parts of meetings where the bosses talked about working with the local police. They wanted more arrests. Elena pointed to a highlighted line. They worked with Cole directly. The board even gave extra money to security guards if they arrested more people. They knew exactly what they were doing. Naomi, read more. The paper said arrests sent people into a private probation program, run by a company called New Horizons Supervision Services. The mall's parent company owned most of that business. "It's all here," Naomi whispered. "The whole plan. They didn't just allow racism. They paid for it. They made it into money." Elena nodded. Every wrong arrest meant another person was stuck in probation. They had to pay monthly fees and go to classes. All the money went back to the same bosses. "How did you get this?" Naomi asked, gently putting the papers back. "My source works in the company's money office," Elena explained. "They have been saving proof for a long time. When they saw the videos of your arrest online, they knew it was time." Naomi leaned back, her mind racing. This was the proof they needed. It showed police and the mall were working together, choosing black shoppers on purpose. No one could say it was just a few bad apples anymore. "We must keep this safe," Naomi said firmly. "And protect my source," Elena added. "Don't worry, they already made many copies and hid them in safe places." "Smart," Naomi said. She placed the envelope inside her jacket. "I'll scan these tonight, make more copies. But we must be careful. After what happened to my car." "You think someone in the police is helping them?" Elena asked. "I know it," Naomi said. "Lieutenant Pierce. I trusted him. I told him about the case. The next day, my car was vandalized with a warning. Only someone inside the department would know." Elena's face grew dark. "Then we tell no one else. Only us." "Agreed." Naomi looked at her watch. "I need to hide this somewhere safe. Then we'll plan our next step." They left the diner, parting ways. Elena went to her newspaper office, and Naomi drove home with the envelope pressed close to her. Her hand touched it again and again, making sure it was still there. At home, Naomi went to her study. The heavy wooden desk belonged to her father. It had a secret space in the bottom drawer. She placed the envelope inside and locked it with the key around her neck. For the first time in weeks, she felt hope. They had real proof now. Not just people's stories. Not just guesses. But written proof of the plan. She made dinner and actually tasted it, instead of just eating without thinking. She checked her cameras. Everything looked quiet. No strange cars. No vandals. That night, she allowed herself to dream. She imagined standing at a press conference, showing everyone the truth. She pictured the mall bosses, Cole, Pierce, all of them, looking shocked. Victims would finally see justice. She turned off the lights. The desk was locked. The key is safe around her neck. Sleep came easily at last. Tomorrow they will plan. Tonight she could rest. The memo was the key to breaking the whole system. Naomi woke up early, full of energy. She made coffee and texted Elena, ready to plan next steps?
No answer.
An hour later, still nothing. Elena always answered fast. Naomi tried calling. Straight to voicemail. She left a message trying to sound calm. Hey, just checking in about yesterday.
Call me.
By noon, Naomi was worried. She sent 3 more texts and called twice more.
Nothing.
She was looking at case files when her phone buzzed.
A news alert.
Her coffee cup fell and shattered. The headline read, "Local reporter hospitalized after brutal attack." The article loaded slowly. Finally, a picture of Elena. Investigative journalist Elena Rivera was found unconscious this morning. Naomi's heart raced. She grabbed her keys and rushed to her car.
This was her fault.
She had pulled Elena into this. The hospital was crowded with reporters. Naomi flashed her badge and pushed through. Elena Rivera's room? Are you family? The receptionist asked.
Police captain.
She's a witness, Naomi lied quickly.
Room 412.
Naomi hurried upstairs. Elena lay in bed, her face bruised, her arm in a cast. Still, her eyes lit up. You look awful, Elena whispered.
Me?
You're the one in a hospital gown. Elena tried to smile. Should see the other guy.
What happened?
Naomi asked, sitting by her. Walking to my car. Someone grabbed me. They knew how to hurt me without killing me.
Naomi's fists clenched.
Did you see their face?
No.
But I saw something else.
Elena lowered her voice.
When they pushed me, their jacket lifted. I saw chrome at their hip.
Naomi froze. A badge. Elena nodded.
Department issue. Just like yours. The words hit Naomi like a punch. Someone in her own police force had attacked Elena. I'm so sorry, Naomi whispered. Don't, Elena said, squeezing her wrist. This means we're close. They're scared. They should be scared of me now, Naomi growled. Good, Elena said weakly.
I'm not stopping.
Neither should you.
A nurse came in.
She needs rest. 5 minutes, Elena begged. The nurse left and Elena asked quickly, the memo, is it safe?
Locked in my desk.
I'll make copies today.
Good.
Because if they attack me, it means they're desperate. Naomi stood.
Rest.
I'll check on you tomorrow.
Be careful, Elena called.
They know we have something. On the drive home, Naomi's thoughts burned.
A police badge.
Someone she worked with had done this. She pulled into her driveway at sunset. Something felt wrong. She unlocked her front door carefully, gun ready. The living room looked normal.
So did the kit Daniel.
But the study door was slightly open.
Her heart pounded. She stepped inside. The room was a mess. Books thrown, papers everywhere.
Her father's desk was broken open. The secret drawer was empty.
The envelope was gone.
Naomi sat down hard, the loss hitting her.
Their proof, stolen.
She thought of Elena in the hospital. Of all the victims counting on them.
Her phone buzzed.
A text from an unknown number. Next time, it won't just be the journalist. Her hands shook with fury. They thought stealing the memo and hurting Elena would stop her.
They didn't know her.
She called 911 to report the break-in, but she knew nothing would happen. The system protected its own. The next morning, Naomi sat at her Kit Daniel table. A letter from Internal Affairs lay in front of her. It said she was suspended, accused of misconduct. Her phone kept buzzing with news alerts. Headlines called her unstable. Articles quoted sources, saying she was angry and obsessed. Lies. They were painting her as the angry black woman.
Her phone buzzed again.
Another unknown number. Hope you die, pig. Naomi shut the blinds tighter. Darkness felt safer. She had already checked her apartment for bugs twice. Maybe she was paranoid.
Maybe not.
The TV talked about her with fake concern.
She shut it off.
Her badge and gun sat on the table. 20 years of service gone.
Her phone rang. Her sister.
Naomi didn't answer. What could she say? That she was fine? That was a lie. She paced the apartment, feeling trapped. News helicopters circled outside. She ducked away from the windows. Emails flooded her laptop. The police union, her boss, angry strangers. You should have kept your mouth shut. She slammed the laptop closed, her eyes stinging.
The doorbell rang.
Naomi peeked through the peephole. Her niece, Jasmine, stood there with her backpack. Naomi opened the door fast, pulling her inside. Jasmine, what are you doing here? You should be at school. Half day, Jasmine said, dropping her bag.
She hugged her aunt tight.
And I needed to see you.
At first, Naomi froze.
Then she hugged back, tears pricking her eyes. Mom's worried, Jasmine said. She's been calling you.
I know, Naomi said.
I can't talk to anyone right now. You mean because of all the lies? Jasmine's young face was serious. We know they're lies, Auntie D. Everyone at school knows. She pulled out her phone, fingers moving fast.
Look. Watch this.
On the screen, the video from the mall began to play. Naomi tried to look away because she didn't want to think about that embarrassing moment again. But Jasmine said, no, look at the views. Naomi looked at the screen. The number was so big it took a moment to make sense. 5.2 million views.
The comments were everywhere.
People wrote, this is what racism looks like. Others wrote, Captain Scott is a hero for speaking up.
And many said, we stand with you, Captain. Jasmine grinned.
It's not just the video. People are telling their own stories too. Stories about Officer Cole, about the mall guards, about the whole bad system. You started something, Auntie D. Naomi dropped onto the couch, feeling dizzy. But they're still saying I'm crazy, that I made everything up.
So what?
Jasmine said, sitting right next to her, her eyes bright and serious.
The truth is out now. People are watching. They're listening.
They're angry, but not at you. They're angry at them. Jasmine opened another page. A big group on social media had thousands of members. They were all sharing stories about Greenwood Mall. People wrote about being harassed, about being arrested for no reason, about being forced to say they were guilty.
See?
Jasmine held Naomi's hand. You're not alone. You're not crazy. You're the only one brave enough to fight back. For the first time in many days, Naomi felt something besides sadness. She felt a tiny spark of hope, thanks to Jasmine's faith in her and the proof that people were finally believing her. When did you get so smart? Naomi asked, smiling a little. I learned from you, Jasmine said, hugging her. You always told me to stand up for what's right, no matter what. That's what you're doing now. And we're all standing with you. Outside, the hot sun shined down on a growing crowd in front of Greenwood Mall. Naomi wore a baseball cap low on her head and stood among the protesters. She couldn't believe what she saw, hundreds of people shouting together.
Justice for Scott. Justice for Scott.
Signs waved high above the crowd. Stop racial profiling.
End police corruption. We stand with Captain Scott.
Naomi's throat felt tight. Just days ago, she felt totally alone. Now strangers were shouting for justice in her name. The protest stretched all the way across the mall entrance. Shoppers had to walk around signs just to get inside. Mall security guards stood nervously behind the glass doors, talking on radios. A few police officers stood far back, looking uneasy. None of them noticed Naomi in the crowd. This is what togetherness looks like, said an older woman beside her. She wore a Black Lives Matter cap over her gray hair.
They thought they could shut you up, Captain.
But you're our voice now. Naomi could only nod, unable to speak. The woman gave her arm a squeeze and walked away, not knowing she had just spoken to the very woman everyone was supporting. Near the front, a group of teens started a new chant.
Show the truth. Show the truth.
The chant spread quickly. Naomi felt the rhythm in her chest, her heart beating with it. The energy around her was strong, filled with both anger and hope.
Captain Scott.
Naomi turned at the soft voice behind her. A black teenage girl stood there, holding her phone tight, her eyes wide. I'm Aaliyah, the girl said quickly.
Aaliyah Scott.
I recorded the video of what they did to you. Naomi's eyes widened. She had seen the viral video many times but never knew who filmed it. Thank you, she said gently. Your video showed people the truth. Aaliyah looked around nervously.
Not the whole truth. Not yet.
I have more video from before they grabbed you. She pulled Naomi aside and held up her phone. I started recording as soon as I saw Officer Cole walk into the mall. Something felt wrong about how fast he came.
The video played.
Naomi watched as Cole walked straight through the mall with purpose. He headed right to the boutique. But this part of the video was 5 minutes before the fight.
Look, Aaliyah said.
On the video, Cole leaned close to the boutique manager, Rachel, whispering something. Rachel nodded and looked angry. Then Cole stepped away and hid. Less than a minute later, Naomi walked into the store. He set it up, Naomi whispered. He planned the whole thing before I even got there.
Aaliyah nodded hard.
I caught him doing the same thing last month with my cousin.
But no one believed us.
When I saw him at that store, I knew something bad was going to happen. I just didn't know it would be you. Why didn't you show this part before?
Naomi asked.
I was scared, Aaliyah admitted. Cole has friends everywhere. But seeing all these people today, she pointed at the crowd.
I can't stay quiet anymore.
This proves he planned it. He was after you before you even stepped inside. Naomi's thoughts raced. The full video was powerful evidence. It showed that Cole lied and set her up. I'm not the only one with videos, Aaliyah added. I run a YouTube channel about the police. People send me clips all the time. Cole does this again and again. Always here. Always targeting black shoppers. The crowd chanted louder, no justice, no peace. Aaliyah touched Naomi's arm. My followers want to help. We can share this everywhere.
But it needs a voice. Your voice.
People trust you. You prove that even black officers aren't safe from this corruption. Naomi looked at the protest. Her mind spun with everything. The unedited video, the witness stories Elena had collected, the money records linking them all to the probation scheme, and now young people ready to spread the truth. They can't silence all of us, Aaliyah said firmly. Not if we stand together.
A news van pulled up.
A reporter and cameraman jumped out.
The crowd pushed forward, ready to be heard. Naomi's heart pounded.
She had proof now. But more importantly, she had allies and a movement behind her. The protesters shouted louder. What do we want?
Justice. When do we want it?
Now. Mall security called for backup. More police cars came, lining up in front of the mall. Officers formed a wall between the crowd and the doors.
Aaliyah held up her phone.
The damning video was ready. What do you want to do, Captain? Naomi stood straighter, feeling the crowd's power behind her. The truth was in Aaliyah's phone. All she needed was the perfect moment to show it, so big they couldn't bury it again. The bright hospital lights shone on Elena's bruised face. She lay in bed, her arm in a cast, but her eyes still looked fierce. You should be resting, Naomi said, sitting beside her. The protest at Greenwood Mall still echoed in her mind. Elena shifted in pain, but shook her head.
Can't rest.
Not with what I found. She looked at the door, then leaned closer. Remember how I said the man who attacked me had a badge?
Naomi nodded. Well, he made a mistake.
Elena smirked a little. When he attacked me, my phone dropped. He grabbed it, maybe thinking I recorded him. But he didn't know I had safety systems. The moment he turned my phone on, it started uploading everything to my cloud. Including, she opened her laptop and showed the screen. All the files from his phone.
Naomi gasped.
You hacked a police officer's phone? Not exactly. He hacked himself by connecting to mine, Elena explained. And guess whose phone it was?
She turned the laptop.
Officer Victor Delgado. Rain's partner. Naomi stared at the documents. Bank statements, emails, spreadsheets. Her hands shook as she read.
It's all here, Elena said.
Payments from Greenwood Mall's parent company to New Horizons Supervision Services. Kickbacks to city officials. Look at the dates. They match the spike in arrests. Naomi scrolled. Emails between Cole and Gregory Stanton, the mall CEO, were casual and cruel. They talked about quotas and targeting certain groups. Another thread showed Judge Pearson, who oversaw most small cases, talking about rushing guilty pleas. They're not even trying to hide it, Naomi muttered. They thought no one would see.
There's more, Elena said.
Remember that memo that disappeared from your desk? I found a copy in Delgado's email. He's the one who broke in, probably on Cole's orders. Everything clicked in Naomi's mind. That's why they attacked you. They knew you were close to exposing them. And now we have proof it's bigger than profiling. It's a whole system of stealing money.
Yes, Elena said.
But we need the right place to release it. Somewhere they can't twist it. Naomi checked her phone. The city council meeting this Thursday.
Public forum.
Anyone can speak. Perfect, Elena said, her reporter side kicking in. The press always covers those meetings. And half the guilty people will be there. They'll try to stop me, but if we plan it right.
She smiled.
We released the full video an hour before the meeting. Everyone will already be talking about it.
Then you take the podium.
Once you show the financial proof, they won't dare shut you down. Not with cameras rolling. Naomi pictured it, facing Cole, the council, the mall bosses. All the people who thought they could break her. We'll need to organize it perfectly, Naomi said. Documents, videos, witness stories. I've already started, Elena said, opening a presentation. We just need to polish your speech. Start with your personal story, then show the pattern, then hit them with the financial proof. They spent the next hour working together, building the case. Elena used her skills as a reporter. Naomi added her knowledge as a police officer, pointing out every law and rule they broke. They'll come after us harder for this, Naomi said. Especially you. They already hurt you once. Elena touched her bruised cheek. Let them. Every attack proves we're telling the truth. She gave a small smile. Besides, I've got a police captain protecting me now. Naomi squeezed her hand. Get some rest. I'll have officers I trust guarding your door tonight. Later, Naomi stood in her bathroom, looking in the mirror. She held note cards with her speech written out. The words were heavy with truth. She stared at her own reflection, the tired eyes, the new worry lines, and the strength that had grown inside her. My name is Captain Naomi Scott, she practiced. Her voice was calm and strong. 2 weeks ago, I was wrongly arrested while shopping at Greenwood Mall. But this isn't just about one unfair arrest. This is about a big bad plan in our city.
She stopped for a moment.
She remembered the loud voices of protesters, Aaliyah's bravery, Elena's strength even though she was hurt. She felt their trust on her shoulders, heavy but important. This must stop now, she told the mirror. All of it. She laid out her clothes for Thursday. Her best blazer, pressed pants, shiny shoes. On the dresser, her captain's badge caught the light. She picked it up, feeling its weight in her hand. Everything would depend on Thursday night. She had the proof. The witnesses were ready. The moment was set. She only had to stand up and speak the truth. Naomi looked in the mirror again, standing tall. My name is Captain Naomi Scott, she said again. Her voice grew stronger every time. The marble halls of City Hall echoed with footsteps and whispers. Camera crews pushed each other for space near the big chamber doors. Inside, every seat was full. People stood along the walls and spilled out into the hall. Naomi stood at the door, her heart beating fast. The folder in her hand felt so heavy. She saw familiar faces. Elena sat in the back with her arm in a cast. Aaliyah had her phone ready to record. People wore shirts that said, "Justice for Scott." Nobody noticed Naomi at first. She wore regular clothes, her badge pinned inside her blazer. Near the front, Officer Cole leaned back in his chair, laughing with Gregory Stanton, the mall's boss. Their easy smiles made her stomach twist. The mayor sat at the center, sweating, his eyes jumping from his phone to the crowd. The council members looked nervous. Naomi stood in line with other citizens waiting to speak. Each person had 3 minutes. She watched the clock, knowing her video would go online soon. Suddenly the crowd began to buzz.
Phones lit up. People nudged each other, showing screens. Cole stopped laughing. The real video of her arrest was now live. The mayor cleared his throat. Next speaker, please. Naomi stepped up to the podium. Heads turned. Whispers spread fast. Cole sat up, his smirk gone. My name is Captain Naomi Scott. Her voice filled the room. 2 weeks ago, I was wrongly arrested at Greenwood Mall. But this isn't just about me. She opened her folder and spread papers on the podium. This is about a system that hurts black citizens, arrests them unfairly, pushes them to plead guilty, and then makes money from their probation. The crowd got louder. Camera flashes popped. I have proof here, she said, holding up a paper. These are emails between mall bosses and police officers. They talk about arresting certain groups of people. I also have money records showing the mall company paying New Horizons supervision services. The mall boss, Stanton, typed fast on his phone. The mayor tried to stop her. Captain Scott, this forum is for concerns, not wild claims. These are not wild claims, Naomi said firmly. Here are emails between Officer Cole and Judge Pearson, showing they wanted guilty pleas pushed through. She turned to Cole. This is the same officer who falsely arrested me, then wrote lies saying I attacked him. Cole's face turned red. He half stood, but Stanton pulled him down, whispering. When I began looking into this plan, I was suspended, Naomi went on. A journalist who helped me was attacked by a police officer. But that officer made a mistake. She held up a thumb drive. He uploaded evidence that proves everything I'm saying. The crowd was hooked. Phones filmed her every word. People posted live updates.
This system has destroyed lives, she said. Hundreds of innocent people were forced to plead guilty. They had to pay fees they couldn't afford. They got stuck in debt. Also, a private company and its helpers could get rich.
She looked at the council.
You've seen the video by now.
That's just the start.
I have statements from victims. I have proof of money going to city leaders.
That's enough. Cole shouted, standing. He stomped toward her, hand reaching for his gun.
You're under arrest for lies.
The crowd jumped up.
But before Cole could grab her, two officers stepped in his way. Naomi knew them, Officers Daniel and Sophia from her own precinct.
Stand down, Cole, Daniel said.
You're not arresting anyone.
Move. Cole barked.
That's an order. We don't take orders from you, Sophia said. More officers stepped up, forming a wall between Naomi and Cole.
The crowd roared. A chant started, "Justice! Justice!"
It grew louder and louder.
Cole backed up, furious.
Stanton, the mall boss, tried to sneak out. The mayor banged his gavel, but nobody listened. Naomi stood steady at the podium, her hands calm now. She had carried fear and anger for weeks.
But now, with the truth out, she felt peace.
Then the state attorney, Patricia Walsh, pushed through the crowd. She had been sitting quietly in the back, listening.
Her face was firm. "Captain Scott." Walsh called.
"I need those documents."
"All of them. Now."
Naomi carefully gathered her papers. "It's all here," she said, handing them over. The money trail goes back 3 years. Payments through fake companies, ending in Judge Pearsian's foundation. Similar payments went to New Horizons, which is owned by Councilman Franklin brother-in-law. Walsh flipped through the papers, her eyes wide. "This is huge." She texted quickly. "I'm calling my team. Nobody leaves this room." The mayor still tried to calm the room, but his gavel was useless. Some council members slipped out the side door. Others sat frozen, pale with fear. Cole paced near the wall, eyes wild. His gun was already taken by Daniel.
"This is all lies," he shouted.
"She's making it up. She's trying to destroy everything we built."
He stopped too late.
"Everything you built?"
Walsh asked sharply.
"And what exactly have you built, Officer Cole?" Investigators arrived, filling the chamber. They closed the doors, collected phones, and took names. Stanton, the mall boss, tried to sneak away, but an investigator stopped him.
"You do have a meeting," she said. "With us."
Sophia walked up to Cole with handcuffs.
"Turn around, Victor.
Don't make this worse." Cole looked around like a trapped animal.
For a moment, it seemed he might fight.
But then he slumped, his anger turning into defeat. As Sophia cuffed him, Cole glared at Naomi with pure hate. But Naomi didn't look away.
"Not this time."
The mayor tried to act important. "I am calling for an investigation into these matters." "The state is taking over," Walsh cut him off. "Your cooperation is not optional. It's the law." The crowd kept filming. Reporters shouted updates. The story was spreading everywhere. Naomi watched as Cole, Stanton, and council members were taken away. Investigators sealed offices and took computers. The broken system was falling apart in front of her eyes. Daniel touched her arm. "Captain, there's a crowd outside. They want to hear from you." Naomi felt tired, but she nodded. She had one last thing to do. She walked through the chamber, people thanking her. Elena gave her a thumbs up. Aaliyah was uploading her video. The big doors opened to the warm night. The steps outside were packed with protesters. When Naomi appeared, cheers shook the building.
"Captain Scott! Captain Scott!"
She stood on the steps, looking at the sea of faces, black, white, young, old, all standing together. Parents lifted kids onto their shoulders. For the first time in weeks, Naomi felt the heavy weight lift from her heart. She was not alone.
The truth was out. Justice was coming.
The night air felt like freedom. 3 days later, Greenwood Mall looked empty. No busy crowds, no weekend rush. Yellow police tape blocked off stores. Some were closed, some under new management.
The food court was half empty.
Naomi walked the halls in her captain's uniform. This time, no one could mistake who she was.
People noticed her. A young mom thanked her.
An old man shook her hand, saying his grandson's case was finally being reviewed. A group of teens asked for a picture, calling her their hero. Naomi told them, "Never let anyone make you feel small. Stand up for what's right, even when it's hard." Her niece Jasmine waited near the boutique where it all began. They hugged. Jasmine said, "This is so weird. But good weird. They have a new staff now. The old manager is under investigation too." Inside, the new staff treated Naomi with respect. The cashier said, "It's an honor." Naomi and Jasmine looked at necklaces.
Naomi smiled.
"Still can't believe it took 3 weeks just to buy your birthday present." Jasmine touched her arm. "What you did changed things. Kids at school ask me what it's like to have a superhero aunt."
Naomi laughed.
"I'm no superhero. Just someone tired of being pushed around." "That's what makes you a hero," Jasmine said.
They bought a silver wing pendant.
The cashier gave them an extra gift box as an apology. People outside the store clapped and thanked Naomi. Parents pointed her out to their kids. "That's the captain who stood up to the bad guys." As Naomi and Jasmine left, applause filled the mall, growing louder. Outside, the sunset painted the sky.
Jasmine grinned.
"This is like a movie ending." Naomi thought of Elena, Aaliyah, and everyone who had fought with her. She squeezed Jasmine's shoulder. "This fight isn't over, but we won today." The sun made Jasmine's silver wings shine, glowing like hope taking flight.